I'm Simon, I'm from Friday, and I'm going to present Simon. First, a bit about Friday. We're the only European hosting partner for Liferay. So we do hosting for Liferay, we do everything around it, like the web server, Liferay itself, the database. Yeah, that's what we do. I started as a Java developer here, and I'm now a DevOps, so I do some development still and some operations as well. And let's get on to the agenda. First, I'll explain a bit about the goal of my presentation, then some about the history of hosting. I'll explain a little bit about Docker. I guess if you paid attention earlier, most of it is redundant. I'll talk about the development process without Docker and development with Docker. A little bit about making containers for Liferay and the process of moving from development to production with Docker. So, the goal, ensuring flexible and manageable environments. Usually you have developers and you have operations, and developers want to deploy everything really fast so they can test it all and push it all to production really fast because their bit works. And operation generally likes to keep things stable and test everything thoroughly. And you want to have both flexibility but also a manageable environment to keep both happy and keep your environment running smoothly. So we'll try and see if Docker can help us. So that's a bit about hosting history. First, a question: who here knows the term bare metal? Not very many. VPS, virtual private server, or VM. About the same. And well, Docker. If you pay attention. So, bare metal is actually a physical computer somewhere, usually in the data center. And every time you make a new environment, you have to buy a new one and put it in the data center and install everything. And that's a lot of hassle. That's where hosting started. You can do deployments manually on those, or you can use some management software on those machines. After bare metal came VPSs or virtual machines. This means that every time you have a new environment, you can just create one by usually clicking through an interface. Voila, you have a new machine, and you can set up your environment on that. It's a lot easier already. You don't have to go to the data center. You don't have to plug in cables and accidentally pull out another one in the rack next to where you're working. So that's all a lot better already. Deployments are still identical to the bare metal machine as you're still working on full operating system, except for the virtual part. It's pretty much the same as the bare metal. Now we're moving to Docker. So what is Docker? Docker takes it a step further. The idea is with Docker you make an image, and in that image you usually run one process, and you separate all your processes so you have image for your database, you have an image for your Liferay, and you have one for your web server, and they all run in separate containers. If, for instance, your database is a bit busy, your Liferay won't notice all the CPU being taken or that kind of thing. The only thing it will notice is the database may be a bit slow. Also for security purposes, this is a lot better because everything is separated. You only expose certain ports that you actually need, so only database ports will be exposed on your database server, and nothing else will be exposed there. You can make different environments by, for instance, having environment variables for each environment. For a Liferay, you can say, for instance, a URL, you can set it in an environment variable. You have exactly the same Liferay, but only that bit is different. So you have an acceptance environment and a production environment that are pretty much the same. And you have the Docker Hub, which gives you a repository of lots and lots of images, which you can use. A lot of other people have already made a lot of images, and you can reuse them for your own purposes. You need that bit. So the usual development process without, you're going to have likely Liferay IDE, a development studio, pretty much same. You're likely to use Maven or Gradle or SDK if you're on Liferay 6.2 or earlier. And quite probable you're running locally a Liferay from a bundle so you can test everything you're making. Or you can use the remote IDE connector again for Liferay 6. And what usually happens with my laptop is that I get lots of messy folders from old projects with lots of Liferay bundles, and I have no idea what's in them or which database they connected to, and if that's even still there. With Docker, I can make sure that it's all in one location. So what do you need if you want to develop with Docker? You need Docker somewhere. This can be locally on your laptop, or this can be on a server somewhere if you can connect to that. That doesn't matter for this case. And you still need your Liferay IDE or your Dev Studio. The only thing you need to do is install the Docker tooling plugin in your IDE. This will connect to your local Docker if you have a local Docker, or you need to connect it to your remote Docker if you do have a remote Docker. But in Dev Studio it doesn't work as easy as with Liferay IDE. But after I've asked around, Liferay has given a workaround. So it does work, you need a little trick to get it to work in Dev Studio. So for remote Docker, you can, if your firewall walling allows it, you can easily connect to that through your Eclipse, and you can make a mounting point in your Docker container, for instance, with which you can deploy it, which I will explain later on. Or you can decide I want to use a remote IDE connector and use that to connect the Liferay in the Docker container to your IDE. Local Docker, pretty much same. So here you have the creation of a Docker container, and you can say I want a certain path in my container to point to a certain folder. in my laptop, so everything I do in there it will be ported to my container. And you're also going to see the environment variables, with very bad database password. We'll see more of this later. So, you've set up your Docker, now you want to actually work with it. This is quite easy. With an SDK, you have an auto-deploy there. And since we have a mount point now, you can just point that to that directory and it will deploy there when you deploy through ID, and it will go to your container and everything works like you would expect it to. Maven, pretty much the same in your POM files for Liferay 6, appropriately, and for Liferay 7 as well, with the only difference that for Liferay 7 it will deploy in a folder OGI/modules in there. So you need to take care that is there when you set up your image and your mount point. For Gradle, it's still pretty much the same in your Gradle property file also. Or you can cheat and use a symlink in your operating system, which I would not recommend. If you're working alone on a project, this can work on your laptop, but say you got available for a long period of time and someone else has to take over, they don't have this symlink. And for instance, Maven or Gradle, these settings are embedded in the project, so anyone else that works on the project will have the same settings and can get going immediately. For the SDK, it depends if the person sharing with you the code with you uses the entire SDK you're using, then it all works fine. If you only take one project, then you'll still have to do the configuration themselves. So we go on to the Docker view. So we install the plugin, and now we get a list of all the Docker images I have locally available as it connected to my local Docker that I'm running. You can see containers on the left, and I can search through the Docker hub for more Liferay images, and there are quite a lot, all slightly different.
Quando abbiamo spiegato alla banca che il problema del loro firewall se la sono presa un po' male, ma hanno capito e l'hanno riaperto.
So again, all the images I have here, Liferay, some as well, and all my containers, and I can easily spin up a new one if I want. Just run this one and it will remember everything I set up in here before, so all the environment variables I set them up once, and next time I only need to change them if I really want to change them. So that's the nice one. It will automatically remember the mount point I had here, pointing somewhere on my device, and it will start running, and you will see the logging scroll by, and this will take some time to get started. So it will spin up Liferay, and I can do a lot of things with it. See here. And this will take quite a long time to start up, so I'll use another one. I have some Liferay projects in here, and this one should run Liferay, so I can just use whatever I already have in the SDK. You can press the deploy button, in this case Maven project, so to Maven build and deploy it to the folder, and then I can get the logging of that server, and it will start the deploy process, and I can follow what it does. Do that again. Okay. And what I can also do from here, I can, for instance, get files into my container, I can get them out of my container, I can run shell commands in my container, be it a little bit limited, and I'm quite used to doing things on command line, and I use a lot of tab completion. That doesn't work in the container. Backspace doesn't work, which is pretty annoying. I think it does work through normal Docker, but not through the container here. So every time you make a mistake in your command, you have to start a new one and do it right and stuff. So most things work except the executing shell commands work. But
only work on local Docker or remote Docker?
That works also on the remote Docker. You can, I have here, this is pointing to my local Docker, yeah, but I can add any Docker instance here. I can point it to an IP address and the port, and it will connect to the Docker there and work from whatever. From your point, it won't be any different. I think that was the demo. So now we have developed with it, we can make a plugin in that, that's great, but now we want to actually have the right image for our library. I've shown that the Docker Hub, I think there were about 25 different library images on there. All of them are a little different, or some are maybe a lot different from the others. So there's lots of options, and it really depends on what you need. Do you need a certain database? Do you need a certain version of Liferay or Java? You really need to know what you need for the project you want to use Docker for. And if you can't find what you need, you can still build your own image. You can base your image on another one's Liferay image, as that's how Docker images work. You usually start with an operating system, then say Java image on top of that, and then on top of that your Liferay image. And on top of that you can add even more. So that is basically what you need to consider when making an image or selecting an image which is available. So you have an image, you have your development environment set up, now you want to go to production. For the development environment we have used hot deploy every time, and for an acceptance environment that might not be the right thing for you. The hot deploy can either leave things behind or not go completely right in one go, and that's not what you want on an acceptance of production environment. So what you can do for those, you can make a new Docker image based on the one you have in development, but you can take the files out of your development or test server that have been deployed there, that you have verified are correct, and put them in an image on top of your Liferay image, and use that for your acceptance environment. That way you know the deployment went all right there, and for the production environment you use exactly the same image as your acceptance environment. And that way any testing you did on acceptance should also work for the production environment. You can go a step further, you can clone your production environment with the new image. So you have all the data in there, you can, you might want to anonymize it or something, but you can run all your tests on that data and they should still be valid for your production environment. And you can also only have the acceptance environment running when you actually need it. You can spin up a new container when you have a deploy coming up and you need to test. And at that moment, clone your production environment. Rollbacks are also quite easy in this way. You still have the old image, so you can go back to it as long as you didn't change anything in the database with your deployment of the plugin, as that will, of course, be left behind. What you can do with this, you can also spin up in parallel. As for a new image, you will have to restart your container, and you don't want downtime after deploying. But what you can do is spin up a new container with all the old data, and then when your library started in the new container, you can throw away the old one and switch in the new one. So you won't have any downtime, but you do take advantage of having exactly the same environment on acceptance and production. Another advantage is we've already seen this morning with GitLab, I think. The whole making of Docker images, automated testing, etc. This can also all easily be done in CI pipelines for GitLab, for Jenkins. This all works very well. So we've also started using Docker for production environments now. We've used our own flavor of our Docker image and designed one for our own needs. We're still changing it all the time as we come across new things we want. And what we've done, we've added an Elm stack so that we can easily track all the logs. You've also seen Kibana before this morning. And this way you can still connect easily to your container, to all the logs in there without actually going to the container. So what we've seen, you can use Docker in development quite easily. You can easily spin up new environments in your Eclipse, by just running a new one. Very simple process. This for developers, you can quickly deploy to there and tear down if you break it too much and start a new one. And you can also ensure that the acceptance and production environments are very stable, and all testing on acceptance is also valid for the production. Questions?
Since now with Liferay 7 fixed bugs are so frequent, do you think with Docker it would be easier to firstly test and then deploy to production fixed bugs to to Liferay deployments?
I think with Docker, the fixbacks are pretty much the same as the deployment to acceptance and production I showed you. You can do the installed fixback on a development or a test server, and then you make an image out of that, and you push that to acceptance and later on to production.
Altre domande? Bene, thank you Simon.